45 seconds of Luxogos.
Long ago, the world was full of wonder.
Narration.
And that magic helped all in need.
And no one ever used it for harm or deceit or abused it for power, because that's just not something people do. Signed, Walt Disney. Okay, Houses Made of Mushrooms is a 100% ripoff of the Smurfs. Gargamel shows up, I'm going to add 1,000,000 sins. Hell, if a cat shows up at some point, I'm adding 500,000 sins just out of pure spite.
But it wasn't easy to master.
Movie is now making a point about how magic was hard, and so people invented light switches. And that's probably making a great point about the peril of taking the easy way, but here's the thing. It's also bull. We see plenty of magic spells later with no easy parallel. They're telling me that this world could shrink and enlarge things at will or turn themselves into other people, and they were like, nah, that's too hard. I'd rather drink a milkshake. I'm not saying no one would be sucking down a milkshake, but I am saying that there were plenty of people who would have stuck with it for a chance to make a bigger milkshake and then drink it while in the form of Daniel Day-Lewis. Also, movie suggests that this world gave up on magic because it was hard to master, and science was easy to master. To that I say, science is hard as bitches. Try it once and you'll see. And even when magic does have a parallel, it might not make sense. Who is trading free personal power of flight for the absolute nightmare that is flying commercial? Yes, I'd like to trade my ability to fly for a crowded cesspool of disease, noise, and pent-up anger, please. And could you also make sure it takes 2 hours of screening and groping to board, and that there's only one tiny shared receptacle for when I need to evacuate my bowels? This whole premise of this movie is a lie and deserves all the sins. Holy f***ing would you look at the size of this room? Who cares what's in it? That room is ginormous. I grew up sharing a bedroom with my brother the size of a large closet. This fool has 600 square feet all to himself.
We don't have much food. I still have to go to the grocery store.
Hands off, mister. Those are for your party tonight.
So she planned ahead for the party in regard to groceries, but not her family's daily meal needs?
Your birthday's a day to try new things. Be that new you.
I thought that was New Year's. Birthdays are for self-loathing and calorie bombing. Any mother of 2 boys worth her salt would definitely get involved once horseplay resulted in wasted food. Wrestling with your mom.
You could definitely learn a lot from Quests of Yore. You want to play?
Quests of Yore is obviously supposed to be a version of Dungeons & Dragons, but isn't the whole D&D thing about imagining a fantasy world? In this world, D&D would basically be the game of life. And do you know anyone who gets together to play life? Burgershire, now serving second breakfast. Get it? This is an LOTR reference, dweebs.
This was my dad's. Lightfoot? Wilden Lightfoot? Yeah.
Holy f***ing coincidence, Batman. Not only does this guy happen to be in the Burgershire restaurant right at this second, but he also sees the sweatshirt and then also happens to have known dude's daddy in college? That is some bullshit.
Your dad was a great guy. So confident. When he came into a room, people noticed.
But also, when Al Capone walked into a room, people noticed too. So recognition alone doesn't mean regarding moral character. Well, learn to drive, be like dad, and invite people to a party are all pretty harmless looking. Unless your dad is Rusty Nail.
And was wondering if you wanted to come over and get down on some cake.
Look, however much heart this movie has at the end, and I've been told it has some, this opening 10 minutes of exposition and setup is a snooze fest I'd expect from Illumination, not Pixar.
What up, dudes? I'm not having a party tonight.
Adolescent practices their important social situation speech ahead of time before completely botching it in front of the ones they were trying to impress cliché. I get that Barley is supposed to be reckless, but this van is swerving back and forth at high speed with no one driving it. The situation would have caused at least 3 pedestrian deaths at this point.
Ooh, whoops. Sorry. Let me just file those.
Joking about having dozens of parking tickets. Look, I hate the asshole parked illegally the one time I see him, but if I knew he had not only gotten a ticket then, but had also gotten 3 dozen other tickets, and none of them meant anything and he never changed, then I would be voting for parking reform and maybe worse. Movie is now double expositioning us by reading the same letter it narrated to us at the beginning of the movie.
Back to life? That's not possible.
Well, it used to be, but people got bored with trivial things like bringing people back to life because they're apparently just that lazy.
Rebirth. Tomorrow's sun is set. One day to walk the earth.
Spelling mistakes.
Only once is all we get. Grant me this rebirth.
Later we find out that magic only works if you speak it from your heart's fire, and that the higher the spell level, the more difficult it is to summon the strength for it. Yet here, Ian just mumbles some lines without even holding the staff, and because the story needs it, the magic is ready to pop. I'm just saying I learned pretty early on that if you want the magic to happen, step 1 is actually holding your staff.
Oh, feet!
Tonight, the role of Barley will be played by Quentin Tarantino.
He can't hear us.
Duh! He has no ears.
A person can only do magic if they have the gift.
I'm pretty sure this very movie told me that magic died out because it was too hard and science was easier, so having the gift is some bullshit. Discount Magic the Gathering is about to save the day.
This book is for a game.
I told you, everything in Quests of Yore is historically accurate. You said it right. It's just for any spell to work, you have to speak from your heart's fire.
Oh, for crying out loud. We will find out in a second that this is basically a Chuck E. Cheese with hundreds of customers. So where is all the traffic? And why is there just one glowing light on? Is it because the joke is more important than accuracy? I think it's because the joke is more important than accuracy. How did they attach a top half dad to the bottom half dad? Shouldn't the top half fake dad be toppling back down the hill? There's no sewing or fastening here. Also, Mount Doom, another LOTR joke. I thought Pixar movies were all about making Pixar in jokes.
Might you have the real map?
Yeah, it's over there.
I'm not sure if I'm sinning that apparently every quest ever started with the same exact map to a single Phoenix gem, or that the exact quest these two need just happens to be the quest that you have displayed on your wall and for your children's menus. But either way, that's some bullshit. Sorry, seasonal allergy.
My days of sending people on dangerous quests are over.
So there are still creatures living who were alive during the before times? This communal magic amnesia makes less and less sense the further the movie goes. She won't let them take the map because she thinks that constitutes her sending them off on a quest. And she's worried about getting sued and losing her tavern. That's the reason they can't have a piece of paper off the wall that anyone could just take a picture of and follow the, hey, why don't they just take a picture of the map? Was this costume made of marshmallows? Why does it melt like this? Well, to be fair, that could also be used to spell nap investor, spa inventor, or Venus porn. So, you might need to check out Philip Grimm, Ancient Rome, or the video you filmed that one time of yourself masturbating in the mirror.
Expressway is a little too obvious. On a quest, the clear path is never the right one.
The f*** does that mean?
We take an ancient trail called the Path of Peril.
Considering you just found out about Raven's Point and all your previous adventures have been on a tabletop game, how did you have this information right at your big blue fingertips?
Your boys are in grave danger, but I can help.
How do you even know that? As far as you know, the map burned up in the fire and they don't even know where they're going. Jeez, the characters of this movie are near omniscient. This head was at the center of the fire as the building burnt to the ground, but had enough comedic sense to crawl itself outside just for this moment. In college, I took a girl on a date one night. We drove up to Chicago, an hour away, had a fancy dinner, saw Fiddler on the roof someplace, and on the way home, my car broke down on the highway at midnight in 33-degree weather. Not my best moment. So the tow truck driver dropped us off at Waffle House, and one of my suite mates drove out and picked us up at 1:30 in the morning and drove us back to campus. Then the next day, the same roommate drove me back to where the car was in the shop, and I had to get money from my dad via Western Union because I was broke. My point is, only in the movies do cars break down at super inopportune moments during important trips. My story was the exception that proves the rule. What's worse is that this car didn't break down. It ran out of gas because the gas dial's broken, which Barley knows and yet forgot to plan for. Barley is the worst.
Is there a magic way to get gas?
Yes, it involves a magical fruit. There's even a whole song about it.
Elbows!
What?
Elbows up! No, it's too high.
Man, f***ing elbow position cannot be important for the spell. And it's not funny, so why is this bit here in the movie?
Hey, I don't need you to carry me. I'm a grown man.
Is this comedy?
The center of its power. And only one weapon forged of the...
Jesus, historical lore spewing Christ. This movie just keeps making up as it goes because it knows you don't care as long as you laugh a few times and you cry at the end.
Got in a little tax trouble a few years back. But don't worry, I know just where to find it.
The Manticore is about to pull an OJ, and the sin is this movie making me use the phrase pull an OJ.
Put it in O for Onward!
Roll D20s. I mean credits. This is my least favorite chase scene of all time. And of course, this chain grabs his arm because movie whips and chains automatically hold on to anything they wrap around.
Oh, it is on, Shades! Got him!
They hear this. So he blasts the air and the sprites all go flying, but Tiny Barley doesn't. Then Tiny Barley lets go and flies out the window, but Ian catches him. And I'm beginning to think this movie has no stakes whatsoever.
I think the spell is wearing off!
And thankfully in the most comedic way possible.
You can disguise yourself to be anyone you want. Disguising yourself is a lie, so you must tell the truth to get by. As long as you don't tell a lie, the spell will be fine.
God damn it, this movie just keeps making up new rules and new loopholes every other scene, and because said loophole rules create physical comedy, I'm expected to laugh. This might be the laziest Pixar script since Cars 3. And yes, Cars 2 is a worse movie, but it's a more original story. Cars 3 is just cars all over again.
Answer every question with a question.
Now we're stealing from 40-year-old virgin.
That guy's not all there today. Yeah, he does seem a little off.
It's Weekend at Bernie's! It's Weekend at Bernie's! Pixar has now stooped to stealing visual jokes from a movie released in 1989.
It's not easy being a new parent. My girlfriend's daughter got me pulling my hair out.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Pixar Disney's idea of LGBTQ representation. Hooray? Topless dancing in public.
Oh no, here he comes.
We know that partial pops can't see or hear, so how exactly did he dance directly over to Barley and grab him with his foot as if he knows exactly where he is?
Just do one thing my way.
You really think this path of peril is the best way to go to the mountain?
No, it can't possibly be. It's longer and windy and has the word peril in its name. So, of course, yes, it's the best way to go. Me. She tells the importance of the sword to the pawn shop owner before finalizing the sale, which causes the price to go up instantly. Like none of these fools have ever seen Pawn Stars. Not only is this bumper conveniently dropped where Colt sees it, but it also magically disappears, so he doesn't run it over when he follows the path.
Bottomless pit. Whatever falls in there, falls forever.
But how do you know this? Sure, you've played your Quests of Boar game or whatever, but you had no idea this was even here.
Just say Bridrigar Invisia.
God damn it, this guy knows fucking everything. This movie is literally go a few minutes, get info from Barley. Go a few more minutes, get info from Barley. Go a few more minutes, etc. Now we're stealing the invisible bridge you need to step out in faith on from the Last Crusade.
Believe with every step.
But he did believe with that step. He was excited and confident. Maybe he meant concentrate. Maybe he meant focus. Maybe he meant the story needed another fail so the tension could amp up. If the centaurs drove cars in this world, then those cars would be designed with doors that work for them, right? Like some sort of Ford Centaurus. So wait, there's a farm out here? And how did these cops get here from the other direction? Kind of makes that whole bridge thing a little pointless, huh? And now they are even on a paved road. I'm guessing it wouldn't have taken too much to drive around that chasm if there was a paved road this close to the other side. Not to mention they are now spotting a raven from this main road. This is one of the most non-hidden quests of all time.
Arcane lightning.
You said that's the hardest spell.
I forgot that part, but I'm sure it happened. And the point is that this movie has given me so many spell rules, I no longer know who to trust. I'd give all the sins back if it went like the movie Sideways and the van immediately wrecked and did no good. This works. I mean, this works. This is a Dude Perfect video snuck into a movie. Only in real life, Dude Perfect can do multiple takes. And in an animated movie, they can just draw the victory from the get-go. I like how he had to run all the way up under this bird statue before he could know which way was pointing.
This is actually kind of cool.
But also impossible. I'm not saying cheese puffs wouldn't float. I'm just saying that in liquid and at that speed, that puffy cheese phallus would disintegrate faster than a non-important MCU character before Endgame.
Oh, we'll get to them fast. We'll get to them so fast.
Wow, now the movie is ripping off the drank too many energy drinks gag from the Yes Man. And it felt stale even in that movie.
Come on, pixie dusters, let's take to the sky!
Really? No retaliation on the people who just splatted one of you on the windshield? Earlier, you just got your bikes knocked over and you went all Mad Max Pixie Road on them, but now you're cool with attempted manslaughter? Good to see they have time to slow down the Cheeto Express for some magic lessons and eventual heart-to-heart conversation, when just moments ago they were in the ultimate time crunch and speeding down this cavern. I guess the time pressure is really only on when the movie needs it to be. This 2 minutes and 13 seconds will translate to 15 minutes and 7 seconds of movie time, because magic?
It's some kind of puzzle!
This movie Indiana Jones is so hard, I'm surprised they don't end up barely making it through this closing door or have to reach back under just in time for, well, Mr. Lightfoot saves the day, because he doesn't need to breathe and can stand on the button underwater and keep the quest going. But who makes a quest like this? Nobody knows they'll need something heavy when they get here, and the room is required to fill with water so you can reach the next spot. The only reason this quest is like this is because it seems really clever that they can use the no-face dad this way, turning a negative into a positive.
No, this doesn't make sense. We took the path to peril.
You know, it doesn't make sense that in all these years with all this construction, no one has damaged or discovered this underground river or this booby-trapped tunnel to the surface. Damn it, Pixar. How did you sneak that whole brother as surrogate dad message up on me like that? And here come the emotions. Damn you, Luxo Jr. and your mystical power over my tear duct. Why does the curse on those who seek the Phoenix Gem immediately start killing the nearby school children, and not those who started the curse? By the time the red evil is transforming itself into a dragon via concrete slabs, I'm tuned way the f*** out on this bitch. Guessing that by the end the heroes win, order is restored, and my college girlfriend loves me again, right?
What do you want? The gem? Fine, take it!
Suggestion: if you're ever being pursued by a mystical curse attached to an ancient relic, don't try to fool it by tricking it with a cheap imitation. Real mystical curses see right through that shit, trust me. Also, premature celebration. Manticore Ex Machina. The finale of this movie is a ripoff of the halfway point action scene in Goblet of Fire, which is to say that the finale of this movie is not very original.
I never had a dad, but I always had you.
Sweet, but what is the super grumpy dragon doing during this minute-long brotherly love moment? Apparently there's a little-known dragon code that you can't attack when there's bro bonding taking place. This pile of rubble landed with not one, not two, but 3 convenient plot-based peepholes. Plot holes? Watching Ian watch his dad interact with and hug Barley makes me realize Ian got kind of a deal here. I know the movie makes Ian okay with it, but that's bullshit. Ian should get to see his dad.
What did he say?
He just kept repeating, "Don't let me die again, don't let me die again. Why did you waste all but 60 seconds of my time? I'm so scared, don't let me die again." Something like that.
He also said he's very proud of the person you grew up to be.
Based on what? He literally had no conversation or awareness of Ian as a person that entire time.
Jello?
Why does he want Jell-O?
Because he's comfortable with Jell-O.
Did you know the CinemaSin writers have podcasts? Check out Sincast and Behind the Sins by searching for CinemaSins wherever you listen to podcasts.
I have made fire! Swamps of despair.
What about the ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual size?
Are you telling me you're the owner of the Bubba Gump Shrimp Corporation?
Yes, sir. We got more money than Davy Crockett.
Merging traffic.
Whatever you do, keep your hands off the wheel at all times! Ah!
Did you catch up to the boys yet?
No, not yet.
Why couldn't I take a cab? For $6, my whole life could have changed.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
What is he doing?
I think he can feel the vibrations of the music, and he's dancing.
Like in Footloose, the movie?
Exactly like Footloose. Is it still the greatest movie in history?
It never was.
You didn't file your paperwork last night.
Impossible. Nobody can jump this.
On a quest, an X only means one thing.
X marks the spot. Oh, and he told me to give you this.
Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.